So hopefully everyone can hear me properly. Well, it's quite dark here at the moment in this house, so I've got these two lights here which I've turned on, and just to make things a bit brighter. Normally I'd use this light box that I've got here, but unfortunately the G66 is a bit too big to fit in there, and it's a bit difficult to work on. So today I'm going to be tearing down this TV box. We done a review on this about 2 weeks ago now, and it's one of those boxes where it's like, well, what's going on here basically? I'm not really sure, because it's produced by Lenovo, and you know, it's a pretty big company and it's a pretty well-known brand, and some people would say it's a well-respected one as well, but there's very little information out there on this device, which is a damn shame, because this has got, well, what I suspect, really good hardware inside. So I'm going to be doing a teardown of this device today. I'm not going to speed anything up. I'm just going to be me taking this apart and seeing what's inside of it. So without further ado, let's get started. So on the back here we've got these four little rubber anti-slip grip things. So these just pull out apparently quite easily, and they reveal the Phillips screws underneath. Hopefully there's no like torque screws or anything like that, because I'll have to go and grab another tool, but I'm just going to use this. Now, in that review we done, it was a hell of a bit of a disappointment, really. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you check it out. And what they've done is, back in 2015 they released this product, and the G66, and it came with a pretty meaty rock chip processor inside it, and they teamed up with a company called Tencent, and they were producing Android firmware at the time. You'll probably be able to see it there, actually. It just says powered by Tencent, and they released this mainly to the Korean market, and I think basically it was a bit of a flop. Well, at least as far as Tencent is concerned, because they went bust in the middle of January 2017. And what Lenovo seemed to have done is they've probably had a massive stockpile of this, and they've clearly just tried to sell it on to like the likes of GMS and that, see if they can get rid of it. And what they've done is they've basically put rubbish firmware on it, and it's basically ruined it, because we tried the Tencent OS on this, and from what we could tell, it was really, really good. Obviously it was all in Korean, so it was no good to anyone really, as far as using it, and you guys at home, if you were interested in this sort of product, it was no good really. Anyway, so we've got this top off. Let's have a look at there's a big chunk of metal here, and this is going to be tricky, I think, opening all this. This is not your standard TV box, I can tell you. This is a bit more complex than that, and there's a lot more going on, and it's a lot better built as well. There's a lot more expensive components used. So I had to go away there just for a second to actually figure out how this all comes apart. Unfortunately, it's made of plastic, so the tools I've been using to actually take this apart has kind of damaged it slightly, unfortunately. Just the way it is, I guess, when trying to figure certain things out. But it seems it's clipped in around the side here, and there's no obvious way to actually unclip it. So it was just a case of grabbing the first thing I could find, which was this knife, and then just slowly prying around it and popping out the clips that'll be inside it. Now, what's happened is it's released the actual entire internals, and I don't want to break that. That is part of the actual. Let's have a look here. I don't know if you can see that on camera. but just in the bottom here, there's a yeah, I can't take that out, so I'm gonna have to disconnect this. Shouldn't take much. Try not to break it. There we go. Right, I'll get that out of the way. So this is it's a funny looking thing. A lot more effort went into designing one of these than it goes into designing a TV box. We all know what they look like, and this is the first time I've ever seen a TV box like this, and it's just a hell of a shame that Lenovo has kind of just like swept it to one side and just forgotten about it, basically. Anyway, let's continue tearing this down. Let's see if we can get further into it. Let's see if we can find the actual heat sink and everything like that. This will be part of it, this component here, I suspect, or it's some sort of shielding, RF shielding, just like this component here. We'll get this chunk of metal off, I think. So whenever you're doing something like this, it's always best to keep notes of where all the screws go. So I just like to put them into like sort of a like on the device like this, I just like to put them all into like into a line, so I know which goes first. So these ones are the ones that are taken out last, just here. See if you can see on camera. So there's the ones I've just taken out now on this RF shielding. Then them ones, and then they're the casing screws as well. So normally I'd label them, but for this, it's there's not going to be a lot of screws involved, so I'm not going to label them. But if you do, you can actually get it comes in useful to maybe use like little cups and that, or just something to put them all in. Maybe like even a pill box if you got one of them, and just label them. Just comes in handy. Right, let's take this off. Huge chunky piece of metal. Some RF shielding, or possibly using as some sort of heat sink. I know I've seen it done before like that. This is a, well, let's see what's underneath this. No, I thought it might have been the processor, but it's not. It's just more gunk. Bit of gunk there. Basically, I think it's some sort of heat. It's transferring heat, I think. It looks like the processor's going to be underneath this, and it's transferring heat to this actual component here. I've got some thermal paste, it doesn't matter, I'll just fire that back on there when I put it back together. So let's continue taking this thing apart. As you can see, it's a funny old design, so they've had to use these ribbon cables to connect everything together. We just unclip that so we don't break it. Pull that out. Grip that end. No doubt this will be actually stuck. Yeah. Yeah, put that to one side, don't want to lose that. Right, how is this? This looks like it's connected internally, so we're going to have to carry on digging a little bit deeper. So I'm using these little lamps here. I've had these for a few years, and they don't half get hot. Bloody hell. I'm surprised they don't set on fire. Anywho. Let's get this ball. There we go, that's out. That is the controller board for all the bits and pieces just here. So we've got the HDMI and stuff like that. I wonder if that'll come off actually. Yes, I'll take that off first. It's the front of the... I hope you can hear me alright, because this microphone is kind of it's a shotgun microphone, so if I move ever so slightly, then it won't pick me up properly. So hopefully everyone can hear me properly. If not, I do apologise. It should just pop off. Or not. No, we've still got some more screws. Now this, hopefully I can get into in a second. This also has a little vibrator motor inside it. You know how you get in your mobile phones when you get a text and stuff like that. Well, this has one as well. Now, again, I've never seen that before on a TV box. And the thing is with the actual firmware you get, if you buy this, say from GearBest or something like that, now that firmware doesn't seem to actually know what to do with that, so it doesn't work. Or at least as far as my testing is concerned, it hasn't worked. But when we installed the original firmware on it, the 10 CentOS, it did work. So when you got notifications, it used to buzz. And you used to turn it on, it used to buzz. From memory, I don't think the actual firmware that comes with it does it. There we go. Hopefully this screwdriver can take this little board off. I'm not sure if I need to actually. Right, we'll take this board off, see what's going on there. So I did say there wasn't going to be many screws. Well, it seems there's a ton of screws for this thing, and there's our little. Let's try and carefully remove this before breaking it. Now, can you see that? Can you see? Now, to me, that looks like a speaker grill of some sort. Now, there's definitely no speaker in here, but on this board, this is the little vibration motor just here. But there seems to be a missing. I suspect there should be a little speaker here. For some reason, it's not there. Be like a notification or something like that, or possibly, I don't know. Possibly some sort of interaction between Android, able to, in future upgrades, as we get with like Google, you can talk to it. You see what I mean? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's just a ventilation, but I don't know. I just feel like there should be a speaker there, but there isn't. There's obviously this big square thing here. Anyway, moving on. So we've got all these lines of screws we need to remove just here. So this should be fun. Right, that's all those screws removed, and well, that's just a piece of plastic. And hopefully we're going to get further and further into this thing now. Let's see what else we need to remove. Okay, so when you get further into things like this, you have to be aware that there's Wi-Fi antennas and stuff like that. I'm not sure that'll pick up on camera, but just here we've got two little Wi-Fi antennas, and it is connecting to this plastic component, plastic part of the plastic chassis, should I say. As you can see here, it's soldered on there, and if I was just to rip it off, I'd probably end up wrecking those things. So these are just little, just plugged in onto the actual board, and these can be, well, in my experience, relatively easily removed. And go, that's that taken off. Now I still don't think this is ready to come off just yet. Right, I think we need to take off this board here. So I originally thought it was the Wi-Fi sort of controller board. No, it's just a USB. It's just part of the USB. Now this is what I'm looking for. These two screws here. Now this should take off the rest of this plastic. Ooh. This would probably be easier if I had a cameraman to help me, but no, I don't have one at the moment. It's just me, myself and I, and this screwdriver. Oh, don't lose that. Good job I've got magnetic. Right, this is the final plastic component to come off the board. Now, interestingly, this is equipped with these. They're these are just plastic. They're kind of light tubes. You see them on a few newer boxes nowadays, and these ones are just plastic, but sometimes they're like they're just rubber tubes. It just allows the light to travel, and it makes this quite a cool effect. But this is just these are just plastic, and if we have a look for the light source, it will be somewhere. Yeah, so there's an LED there, just that one there. There will be more somewhere if I can find them. Probably have to take this off actually. And I wonder if this is acting again as a giant heatsink. I was actually, expecting some sort of finned heatsink, if that makes sense. But no, it's just this thing, a chunk of metal. And we see that quite a lot actually on TV boxes. Now, I don't think this is actually screwed on. I think it's actually connected with using thermal paste of some sort. Yeah, there we go. So, thermal pads, good old thermal pads like we've seen before. Like, how I took off this component here. This will be transferring here as well away from all the different components. And these again are protected by this RF shielding, more of it. And we have our Wi-Fi chipset here. And those things I unplugged before, just from here. I'm not sure you can see that on camera. So these two here where the actual two antennas came out of, is these two. So there's our, now AP, it says on here AP6356S. So off the top of my head, that's Broadcom. So good chipset, good Wi-Fi chipset. None of this rubbish that we see nowadays, like the Psy ones. I don't know what they're playing out with those ones, because we can't get hold of the freaking drivers. And we will, I suspect we don't really need this, because I hate this stuff. I don't know why they just can't use regular old thermal paste. Take that crap off. Now we're going to have to somehow get into this, so hopefully we won't break it. They normally just clip off these sort of things. Ta-da! We have our rock chip processor. And so it's the RK3288. And that there, my friends, is a good processor. Well, it's got a decent GPU in it. Fortunately, these guys have messed up some more. They're using this damn horrible stuff. I wish I wouldn't do that. Just put regular thermal paste. Like, anyway, we've got our RAM chips. They are Kingston RAM chips by the looks of it. So we all know what Kingston is. I didn't believe they made actual RAM. There we go. So let's see what's underneath. Don't know what that is, I'm not sure, but that's soldered down. That's soldered down for some reason. And we have, now that's interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up actually. So this here is what I suspect is the memory chip, so the storage chip, and it has Tencent written on it. And now I know Tencent it's quite a big company, and they don't just do, well, they don't just did firmware for Android devices and that. They must make their own storage chips at some point. Interesting. Let's try and get into these. Right, well, I can't get into these, so I'm not sure what they'll be under there. I don't think there'll be much. They're soldered in place for some reason. I don't have a soldering iron handy, so I can't get it off. But anyway, this board is great. You know, there's a lot going on here. Well, not really. I mean, we've got two boards and a whole load of heat sink and heat transfer and this great big chunk of metal, and what I suspect a missing speaker for some reason, but that's our little motor there. What buzzes away when a notification comes through. But there's our Rockchip processor. We've got our RAM chips. We've also got our storage. Interestingly, it's by Tencent. Don't know really a great deal about that, to be honest with you. I mean, there's so little information online about Tencent doing what they've done, and this actually particular product. You'd think, being by Lenovo, there'd be a hell of a lot more information about it, but it's not. There's barely anything anywhere about this actual product, and there we go. But overall, a great board, great looking board, very clean. There's very little, you know, it's not messy like you see from a lot of cheaper products, a lot of cheaper boards. But no, it looks very clean. It's very well made, and yeah. But it's clear that Lenovo have just, for some reason, I've just decided to give up on this. If this was given proper firmware, really well prepared, well made firmware, and sold to us a lot in the UK, in the US, you know, parts of, you know, Europe and that, and all that, there's no reason why this could not be a really good product, and they could keep, you know, continue to improve it as well. It's a bizarre one. It really is. It's very, very bizarre. I don't know why. If you know, please make a comment in the comment section below, and we can maybe look into that if you know a little bit more about it than me. But clearly this is a very good product, and oh, hang on. Yeah, so what's happened, what I got distracted there for a second is, so this Wi-Fi chipset is actually the Wi-Fi / Bluetooth chipset in here. But what I also noticed, hello Mr. Postman, thank you very much. That was just my postman, if you heard that on camera. We've got a Realtek one here as well. So that's Broadcom. ARM-Pack, I think, make the modules for this. And it's a Broadcom chipset. That makes sense to you guys. And then we've got the Realtek one here. So I'm assuming RTO 8201F. Yeah, very good. And yeah, these Rockchip processors look great, don't they? More fancy than the Amlogic ones. Yeah, so anyway, I'm getting distracted there. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this interesting. If you want me to look at something, look at some of the components, I'm more than happy to, and give you information about that if you like. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. My name's Matthew, and you've been watching a peculiar review, not a review, different, that's it, different video by the MXQproject. Now I've got to put this damn thing back together, so that should be fun. I'm kind of regretting not labeling everything. Anyway, guys, I'll get on with that. Thanks for watching. We shall see you very, very soon.